So a lot of people were requesting that I do a video live, like a video talking about how I use this pipe to smoke weed. It's actually very useful because um, it's very useful. I gotta close the window, too much sound. But it's very useful because, it takes a lot less weed to get high. Like the amount of weed you use for joints, like rolling joints and shit, if you use that for this, you're gonna get a lot higher with this pipe than a joint. Because the way that it's set up is you get a lot better and more efficient high if you use a pipe. Why? Because you're inhaling the actual THC, it's being passed through here. And I mean, you guys can dig it. You guys understand difference between pipes, pipe and joints. You know, smoking weed from a joint will definitely release more aromas than a pipe. If you don't want to have the smell of weed all over you, using a pipe might be the best option. So if you look at uh let's see. So apparently it says here, um okay. Personally, I find joints more discreet and flavorful since you don't have to worry about a dirty bowl making the hit taste resi. But a pipe is the classic way to smoke beside a joint. And it's a great way to start working up to a bubbler or a bong. If anything, go straight to a handheld bubbler. It could be better for you because the hits will be more smooth and you can taste the bud better. Because I also know the pipe would have been easier. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you'll need some alcohol and some table salt. All you have to do is put some salt into the pipe and some alcohol and just shake it up. Um, I find joints more harsh actually. With a pipe, you can control how much you want to smoke more easily. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a very good point. You can control it because we have this little hole here where you put your hand here and then you basically inhale the here over here. Put your hand here, you inhale it, you let go, you inhale it, you let go, you inhale it, you let go. But make sure not to smoke too much weed because you're gonna get very addicted and you're gonna have a dependence on it as well. Having a dependence on weed, probably not the best move if you're even trying to be a successful member of society. Weed is not really a gateway drug. It's kind of really just propaganda because people don't want you to smoke it. But it's a lot better than smoking a cigarette, for example. You're gonna be much better off smoking weed than smoking a cigarette. If you were to do that, then you'd be better off. You'd be better off not smoking at all. Like, I would recommend, if you're watching this video, not to smoke weed and not to smoke anything ever because your lungs are supposed to take in oxygen. How many times do I smoke weed? Let's see. So typically, I mean, it depends on how I feel, but typically I will make sure not to do it more than twice a week or even once a week. I try to limit it, to once or twice a week or even less, maybe like twice a month or three times a month. That's like negligible amounts of times. So that's not really going to do much damage to your lungs. If it's like a one-time thing, not a one-time thing, but if it's a regular thing, regular means like what, three or more times a week? That's regular. I believe that's a regular amount of times to smoke weed. But really, the best way to do it is to space it out. Don't smoke it all too much and also, it costs a lot of money to smoke weed too. It's not cheap. You know what I'm saying? It's not a cheap endeavor. It's pretty expensive to do it. It's not cheap. It costs like what, 10 euros per gram here or more if you want to get the more potent strands of weed. And a great way to manage it and budget it is probably to smoke from a pipe or a bong because you can control how much weed you smoke and you can smoke less for a higher amount of time being high. Like it's much better than a joint, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's my opinion. You guys can try it out for yourselves and see the difference. And if you guys are weed smokers, but if you're not, probably shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't encourage anyone to do this shit. You're gonna end up like me, living alone, no friends, no girlfriend, no father, no mother, no family, nothing. Yeah, they pretty much cut me off completely. Not because of this, but multiple reasons. But this is also a reason too. But yeah, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about them anymore. They don't give a fuck about me. I don't give a fuck about them. If they die, I don't give a fuck. If I die, they don't give a fuck. It goes both ways, right? But hard truths actually cut both ways, right? I learned that from the Game of Thrones show, but it's actually a very good point and a very good quote. They tell me I'm worthless, but you created me and you made me worthless. You are also worthless because I come from a seed line of you. I come from you directly. You made me worthless because of your upbringing. It goes both ways, buddy. Doesn't just go for one direction. Hard truths cut both ways. You know, Telling the truth means telling the hard truth, but it also goes both ways. It's not just on the individual. It's a community. It takes a village to raise a child. Doesn't always take a family. How do you think children that are don't have a family grow up and become a functioning member of society? They get raised by the village, dude. They get raised by the community. The community raises them as they would be their own child. Um, but yeah, getting back to the weed, yeah, I enjoy this better. But the thing about this one is pretty potent. Like your lungs are gonna be on fire. You're also not going to want to hold it into your lungs for so long. I don't have any weed right now, so I can't show you guys, how to pack it or whatever. By the way, you guys are gonna want to clean it with salt and alcohol. Just put some alcohol in the tip, put some salt in there, shake it up. Just shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, and then you're pretty much good to go. That cleans it up. It's good to go. And then the alcohol is gonna make it pretty clean, smooth, and dry it up a lot more. Yeah, I mean, this is a pipe that I bought from Easy Times. I think that's a coffee shop nearby in Amsterdam. I would recommend you guys go to Easy Times. That's a very good coffee shop in Amsterdam. I don't live in Amsterdam. I currently live in Harlem right now. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. Yeah, this is a good video, I believe. I know no one's gonna watch it, but it's good for my own sake.